Hey everybody, it's Tim Hepworth here with Fly Fishing Board Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying. I'm here to bring you another quick tie. Today we're doing Season 4, Episode 3, the Sparkle Minnow. Gonna look just like this guy here, or something like it when we're done. So what I want you to do is go ahead and grab your kit. Your Season 4 kit looks just like this. If you don't already have one, you can still purchase them. Go over to flyfishingboardriver.com/TNLS4 to purchase your kit today. Still can get those as we speak. What you're gonna do is go ahead and open this up. Let's go ahead and grab our Season 4, Episode 3 package. You're gonna have two different flies in there, but you'll recognize this one right off the hop. It is quite big. Let's grab that one out. We're gonna get our hook secured in our vise. This is gonna be about a size 6 hook with a cone. Let's get it secured. Let's go over the vise and get started. Okay, so we got our cone that sits a little funny. So one little trick I'm gonna suggest, don't have to, but it's a nice little thing you can do, is if you grab some lead wrap or lead-free wrap, whatever you're using, if you come and you take a handful of wraps, we'll just do a handful here, like so. And we go ahead and either break that off or trim it out. If we push this up into the cone, what it's actually gonna do is it's gonna secure it for us and keep it where we want it. So it's kind of sitting right at the right direction instead of being flopped over. Okay, so that's just a little trick you can do to keep your bead where you want it to be. Today I'm gonna use some, this is going to be 6/0, you could use 3/0 in black. A little bit heavier for the streamer materials, but it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just don't go too light that you're gonna be breaking your stuff all the time. Let's start it behind that wire or just behind the bead. Lay that down. Let's go back forward. I wanna put some thread wraps kind of covering right up in here, making sure that lead wraps aren't gonna move it at all on me. Right up against that cone. Then we're gonna work this back right to the hook bend, okay? We can leave that right there. Now the first things we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our 3 colors of marabou. So we always like to do this fly with 3. We're gonna stack them on top of each other. We're gonna start with the white because most minnow bellies are white on the bottom. Let's go ahead and moisten the tip of that blood quill of our marabou. And we wanna make a tail that's roughly 1 full hook length in length behind. So I'm gonna go ahead, transfer that to the back measurement. We're gonna tie that one in first, right up on top of the hook. It's important that it's on top because we're gonna stack these right on top of each other. So a couple wraps on it like so, secure it down, a couple wraps in front. And now I'm gonna take my thread, I'm gonna wind this up. We're gonna create a nice little bit of a even underbody with that marabou. And we can go ahead and trim out that stem. We're gonna go back here again. This time we're gonna grab a little bit of a lighter, so we got a little bit of a lighter green, and then we're gonna finish it off with our olive. Again, let's moisten this. Really help stack it so we can see what we're working with and keep the tips aligned. And now we don't have to remeasure, we're just gonna measure off the tail we already have in there. So let's equal up those tips, lay it right on top, switch hands, and lock that on top. Now what this is doing, guys, this is stacking this up. It's gonna look really nice as a layered tail. Now we're gonna do the same thing we did the last time. Secure that butt down a little bit, trim it out, and then we'll secure all the way up behind the bead. Just like so. We got one more color to put in. So we're gonna come back in here again. This time we're gonna grab our olive. Let's moisten up the tip again. Gonna come like so. Even out those tips a little bit if we can. Lay that right up on top. I'm gonna secure it. Just like that. One more time. Didn't like the way that sat down. And this top one you can leave a smidge longer than the rest if you like, because it's gonna be the more pronounced top color on this tail. We'll do it just like that. Wrap it forward. We'll trim that out again. Secure it down. Make sure we got it really good and secure, kind of evened out with our thread wraps. So we come to the back. There we have it, there's our tail. That's our stacked tail, white, lighter green to our olive on top. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our flash. We got some red flash we put in your kit. So go ahead and grab that. You're gonna have a couple of really long strands. They're really, really long. So I'm gonna even up the tips on the super long strand, and we're gonna double it over. So I've doubled it like this. Now I'm gonna come all the way down to the bottom of it, and I'm gonna cut it where it doubled over. And now I'm gonna use 2 strands on one side, 2 strands on the other off that one piece. Don't worry about the overall length, we'll trim them in a second. Let's just get them tied in. So I'm gonna tie one in on the far side of the fly towards yourself, and then one on the near side. So once I got that one in, I can grab it from the other side. Make sure I get those tied in on this side. And then I'm gonna grab all of the pieces, all 4 pieces, extend it just beyond the back of that marabou and trim it out. Now that's just gonna give this fly a little extra sparkle. It is a sparkle minnow, we might as well have sparkle in it. So what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're gonna do another dubbing loop tonight. So we're gonna do one that's about, I don't know, 3 to 4 inches long. So I'm gonna isolate that loop like we always have, toss a couple of thread wraps over top of it, secure it right back there, and I'm gonna advance my thread all the way forward to the bead. I'm gonna throw a little half hitch in there, save my work and keep my thread out of the way, set it on my bobbin cradle. I'm gonna come in here with my dubbing tool, my hook, and grab onto that. Now the mainstay colors is this caddis green sparkle ice dub is what we're gonna be making the majority of this body out of to start with. So I like to pull it apart and stack. Pull apart, stack on top, okay? We're gonna do that a few times, and then we're gonna stick it into the dubbing noodle itself. So I'm gonna do it a couple more times. I'm gonna kind of spread it out so I got that 3 to 4 inches, like so. I'm gonna open up that dubbing loop. I'm gonna set it right in there. So once it's set in, it's gonna look something like this, okay? Now, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my finger on it, spin that dubbing noodle, try to keep that flash out of there if we can. It always likes to get caught up in there. We wanna do this till we have a nice rope, cord it up like so. Make sure we got that flash still able to come out of it. Once we have it here, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna tease some of this out, okay? Gonna grab our dubbing brush and just rake on it a little bit. We wanna get some of that material to pop up for us. Once we get it up a bit, then we're gonna palmer this forward and we'll comb it out some more. Okay? So comb, comb, comb till I get a decent amount of it pulled out. I'm gonna get that flash back out of the way now, and I'm gonna start wrapping this up the hook. Don't worry about that flash, it's all gonna end up melding back into the overall appearance of this fly. We're just gonna palmer this forward until we're right up behind the bead. Like so. If you did all your measurements right, you should pretty much have the perfect amount. We'll bring our thread back into the equation. Go on either side of our dubbing loop, make sure that's good and secure. Then I can trim that out. We're left with that, okay? Now we are gonna do a little bit more combing here. We wanna pull this stuff up, really fluff it up, fluff it back. Really get it pulled out, because this is where the majority of the sparkle and the body of the fly comes from. Once we got that nice and pulled up, all we're gonna do is take it, flip your fly upside down, and we wanna basically part the C's here. We're gonna pull all that material so it's not on the bottom. We can stroke it back, but we want it out of the way. Because now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in there with our pearl ice dub, and we're gonna make the belly of the fly. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna grab a decent chunk of this. I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. I'm gonna stack it on top of itself. And I'm gonna squish it right together. So I've got a nice little portion that looks like this, where I'm gonna extend that back kind of towards that hook. It's gonna be about the halfway mark on the piece that I grabbed. And I'm gonna take a thread wrap and get that secured underneath that cone. And I'm gonna fold it back and get another thread wrap. If you tip your cone up, it should grab and allow that to come in inside of it. And then I'm just gonna pull and kind of split it on either side of that hook, pulling it back. And I'm gonna take some thread wraps. Really secure it in. We'll comb that back even more. Just a moment. Looks like that should be enough. I'm gonna put just a little bit more in on this belly, just kinda like to add a little bit more. Not crazy amount, but I do like that, really having that pronounced, bright white belly on this guy. It's gonna put in a little pinch here. Fold it back. There we go. So I'm gonna finish off this fly by whip finishing, and then we'll comb it out. Do Do a couple whip finishes. Make sure you got that good and secure. 3 or 4 turn whip finish twice should be more than adequate. Shouldn't need even to put any, try to get any resin in there if you did that properly. And now we're gonna come in and we're gonna brush this thing out. Brush, brush, brush. Get all of that heading back and rearward. Get a nice big pronounced belly on this minnow. And there you have it, guys. That is our ice dub. Super simple. Do it in lots of colors. Make them articulated. Whatever you want to do. Great minnow to have in your box. Again, this is Tim Hepworth here with Fly Fishing Boulevard Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Time. This has been a quick tie on the Sparkle Minnow. We'll see you again next time.